What's up, comic creators? In a recent article, Bob Iger was questioned on April 3rd during one of his big important meetings with shareholders and things like that on his direction he's taking the Disney Corporation in the things that they've decided to do and the things they've decided to represent, and basically questioned on being a agenda-driven organization over the other things that built the company, and made it the success it is today. His response to that, and I'm reading from this article out of allears.net, it said Iger responded to these comments and questions by first addressing some of the experiences mentioned. Iger said Disney prides itself in being accessible to all people. When it comes to content and storytelling, Iger said, "We've been telling stories for 100 years aimed at entertaining and inspiring families from all over the world, and we're extremely proud of the positive impact we've had on billions of people over that 100-year period of time. For generations, the stories that we have told have touched people's hearts because they have been infused with right values." And I would honestly say right there, it's that statement is correct. He has that he is accurately reflecting on times past of what Disney has been able to build and do. But the important thing is that during those times, he was not at the company, and the people that were there were not there, and so he's talking about things and the foundations that him and all of the current representatives of the organization are standing upon. And I think that there needs to be a recognizing of what that is, and especially when you have new leadership and new people in the door. Now, Bob Iger in his own right has done many things. I'm not trying to question him there. However, with any organization, with anything that you do, where you come into a place that has built stuff over time and has been successful in that and is still being successful in that, it's not like it was downward facing and the company needed to make a big change. You need to recognize what is making it successful. So it says Iger described Disney's films by saying they've celebrated heroes, emphasized the value of family and friendship. They've instilled a steady faith in the belief that good triumphs over evil, that tomorrow will always be brighter than today. And I think those stories have had an amazing positive impact on the world, a world that always loves and needs great stories and great entertainment, particularly in today's world. Yes, once again, but notice that the values that he's highlighting, that he says that those stories have done, have not been the values that he's being criticized on for what the organization is representing. Iger then acknowledged, "We've recently gotten criticism for what some perceive to be agenda-driven content, and I'm sensitive to that. Actually, our primary mission needs to be to entertain, and then through our entertainment to continue to have a positive impact on the world. Our primary mission needs to be to entertain." Yes, he's actually getting that correct. He continued, "I'm very serious about that. It should not be agenda driven. It should be entertainment driven. That should be the goal in all of our stories." Iger noted that they likely won't be able to please all people all time. He also said we should be sensitive to the fact that parents have different levels of comfort with the content that is delivered to their children. I want parents to be able to trust the content that we're creating for their children. Iger continued by saying that Disney is committed to delivering age-appropriate content for family audiences while also telling stories that reflect on the world around us and that foster greater understanding, greater perspective, greater acceptance of all people. He shared, "It's my hope that Disney continues to be a source of hope and optimism for the world, and we're honored to actually carry forth Walt's legacy of inspiring joy and wonder for everyone." This is what I would say is a good example of what we want to talk about, in the sense of you have an organization that has forgotten the all-important thing, which is what is the product. What is the product? He said he says that the world around us, and that fosters great understanding, greater perspective, and greater acceptance of all people. And I would argue and say, actually, my friend, you have completely forgotten what the product actually is for your organization and what has made that organization successful. You are on the right track in the beginning. Everything after that, you have added to it. And this is really what we were talking about in the last video. We discussed the similarities between how a business, or even like your YouTube channel, is like a machine that needs constant maintenance and attention. But building off of this illustration, we can talk about the importance of asking the question, what is the product? Like I said before, now to someone who owns a restaurant, that would seem like a silly question, right? Like, what's the product? The product is food, but it's also the atmosphere. It's also the thing that you create, the experiences that you create for your customer base. But for those in the creative space, such as content creators or those offering some sort of experience from their model, who definitely need to keep themselves within clear understanding of what is the product. And what you are seeing in an organization such as that is that they are forgetting what their product actually was. If they go back and look through the product that they created over the course of the hundreds of years they've been around, whatever, and they go through all of those all of that content, and they go and they scan through everything that they're doing, it's very, very clear to see that they have departed ways, or parted ways, not departed, sorry, parted ways with what their product is and what it is that people are coming through their doors to see. And that not necessarily, if you're going to mix something in that's going to part with that product and part with that traditional role, where there was no issue. It wasn't like Disney was on an economic downturn. It wasn't like, you can argue that their parks and stuff had issues because of the cost and all that stuff. I'm well aware of all that. However, their content, as far as movies and media and entertainment, was like there was nothing better. And now all of a sudden there's something terrible about it, and their content is not generating anywhere near what their content used to generate. And you can sit here and say, well, that's because we're taking a principled stance. However, there are countless examples of organizations that have taken principled stance on various different things and have been successful in those things, but also they haven't violated what their product is. They haven't changed their product, and they maintain their excellence and their standards. And so really it also, it plays an important role in all sides of the organization. You have to maintain that product and understand that when you start mixing things in and you start altering that product, people will be upset. And when you're creating your content, when you're thinking about creating a certain type of content in your certain kind of videos, you need to understand that this is the product, this is what you are selling. When people come to watch my content, when people come to experience what it is where we are doing here, they are coming for a specific thing that we are offering. And we need to make sure we understand what is that thing. What is that thing, and how do we continue to duplicate it? That's part of the process of building that machine. You cannot build the machine, you cannot build the processes and the systems to be successful without first understanding what it is that you're selling and what it is that the machine will produce, and keeping your thumb on that. It's very clear. Even with my channel, it started to succeed and started to grow because I came to a place of understanding of what is that product. And it's very, very sad to see an organization that has done so many awesome things and done something really good being led by someone who clearly is not in tune with what the product is, and has allowed himself to be twisted and manipulated into believing that there's something wrong with the other people who are causing the issue, and they are the ones that need to be the bearers of their principle. And it's sad to finally see someone actually address the things that they're saying and still get turned down and say, well, we're still going to continue to be a place for all people. Well, how are you going to do that? What's the plan? How is your product going to reflect that? What is the action steps that you're going to take to ensure that your product no longer seems to be agenda driven and continues to be the product that built the place? Because it hasn't always represented the right, quote, values. They've made some pretty bad strides in making products that now their content is being criticized years later, old content. But they've still been able to overcome that, and I think they need to get back in touch with what helped them do that. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? I'm actually curious with this one because I know there's a lot of stuff to talk about here, and I'm interested to see from a breakdown perspective what you guys think of that. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one.